So last night I came down here to do some recording. And if I'm honest, I didn't want to be here. But I got some good recording done anyway, despite the fact that I wasn't feeling inspired. I used to have this thing in my head where I told myself that every time I record, I should be in a moment of inspiration, whether it was piano or guitar or especially vocals. Because if I wasn't, then you could hear it in the music and it would be a disservice to the recording and to the listener. And that just wasn't true. See, a lot of the times with composing, when we write a new song or we create something, that comes in a moment of inspiration, where we write a whole song in 5 minutes and it just happens and it comes out and it's great. But in recording and in performing, that's a very different animal. Being a guy like me with a process like what I have where I record most of my own parts, not all. I do work with some really, really good musicians from time to time. But, historically, I've recorded most of the parts that you hear in my albums. Whether it was the vocals, the piano, the guitars, the bass, etc. Recording day after day after day, you start to realize that you can't just muster up a moment of passion and inspiration every single time. It's not necessarily always sustainable. But, like an actor or a Broadway performer, you start to learn that you can go out there and do a good performance and represent the original inspiration of what was written in a way that impacts your audience, even if you're not feeling it. I know that I've had concerts sometimes where I felt like I did horrible. My singing was off pitch a little bit, this and this went wrong, and I was like, man, I bet there was not any way that this had any impact on the audience. And then what's so funny about it is sometimes that's when I'll have audience members come up to me and be like, man, I was so impacted by the performance tonight. That was just awesome. I'm taking that home with me. And I'm sitting there thinking, how? That's because when you go forward, whether it's to record or to perform, you've got to lean back on the skills that you've practiced, your intuition and instincts, your education, your preparation, and let those things kind of do the work for you. It's great when you get in the vocal booth or you get up on the stage or you get in front of the camera to act and you have this moment of purely kind of being in it. But that doesn't always happen. When I finally stopped limiting myself when I was recording, I was able to get a lot more done, a lot more frequently. And that's exactly what happened last night. I wasn't necessarily feeling it, but I knew if I just sit down and do the work, something great will come out of it and I'll just get some progress done. And sometimes composition can be the same way. Some great songs have come out of those raw, spontaneous moments. But other times, I've sat myself down in front of the computer. I've said, okay, I want to write a new pop song or I want to write a new rock song. I've, recorded some stuff in and didn't like it. Fussed with it for 2 or 3 hours and didn't like it. Saved it to Dropbox so I could listen to it later, slept, got up the next day, put in my earbuds and went, wow, this is actually great, this is fantastic. Why did I think this sounded like garbage? So the bottom line is, whether it's when you're recording or whether when you're performing in any capacity, you may not always be feeling it. But if the source material is good, if the message and the inspiration behind it and the passion behind it is good, then you just fall back on your technical skills to represent that and you can still create an inspired thing. So that's my tip for today for getting stuff done. Talk to me in the comments. Let me know what your process is like, because everybody's still a little bit different on this, and sometimes it just varies day to day. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and grab my original music, which you can find in the description below. I'll see you guys soon. Onward and upward.